Hi, my name is Todd Johnson, Executive Director of YMCA Youth Sports. This is the YMCA Junior Huskers Micro T-Ball Coaches Meeting. First, I would like to say thank you for coaching Micro T-Ball this summer. We would not be able to give the number of opportunities to the youth in this community without the great volunteers we have, and I would like to say thank you for taking your time in what is going to be a great summer of Micro T-Ball. Micro T-Ball, it will have practice and game in the same hour. So when you show up for your game on the time your schedule says, the first 25 minutes will be a team practice, and the last 40 minutes will be where the two teams come together and play Micro T-Ball. So in the youth sports office, we would have a team packet for each one of you. Included in your team packet are going to be hats, shirts, and then the rule sheet. Also, we will include in this, along with this video, a copy of the rules for you to follow. Your team packet, if you have not picked it up, can be picked up in the YMCA Youth Sports Office at 570 Fallbrook Boulevard, anytime Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. If you do not get to our office before your first game this Saturday or Sunday, we will have your team packet at the YMCA Wright Park Garage. So if you do not come to the office, please stop by the garage on Saturday or Sunday whenever your game is and pick up your team shirts and hats. Included is your roster, which will give you a size of what each kid ordered for a t-shirt. 99% of the time in Micro T-Ball, it's going to be a youth small. If for some reason a player got a wrong size, you can sure exchange it in the YMCA Youth Sports Office. So for Micro T-Ball, your schedule, if your schedule says 1 o'clock, that is when your team would get the field. So when you show up for Micro T-Ball, at your field will be a bucket of 9-inch safety balls, a batting tee for each team, and if your team members need a helmet, we will have staff up in the area to get helmets to anyone who would need it. So when your game time starts, your scheduled time at 1 o'clock is when your practice starts. And what should I do at practice? So somebody who has coached 2 years of Micro T-Ball with both of my sons, what I did with your practice was I would first try to teach the kids kind of where the bases are, because a lot of times it'll be the first time kids this age have been on a baseball field. So I would start at home plate with my team, and we would just run the bases, and I would run with them. I'd run to first and let them know as soon as you hit the ball, this is where you're going. And then we'd talk about first base. We'd run to second base and talk about second base. And then we'd run to third base, talk about what's going to happen when you're at third base, and then we all run home. And I would do that. I would do it to start each practice because I think it's a little fun exercise, and it also is a little bit of running to burn out any nervous energy the kids might have before we began. And then when I would run my 20-minute practice, I would take my tee and I would take a few of the balls and I would kind of rotate kids in on the side, hitting off the tee, working on a batting stance with them, holding the bat, trying to hit it off the tee. I would usually go 6 to 8 balls on a tee for each kid, and I'd rotate my players. And while I was doing that, I would try to find a couple parents to help me that would just work on throwing and catching. So I'd either line the kids up, or I would have them in a line and throw to a coach and have them, then the coach throw it back to them. Sometimes when you have the kids at this young age, at the beginning of the year especially, try to play catch with each other, you can have balls kind of going everywhere. So I would work on learning how to throw, catch, and then we would do a little bit of fielding. So we would either just line them all up at second base, somebody at first base, try to throw some grounders to them, let them field one at a time in a line, throw it to first and rotate over at first, so you're always rotating players around. And then at 25 minutes, when your practice is ended, the both head coaches would meet. You are going to be the umpires also, which does not involve a lot in micro T-ball. But you would come together and just say, hey, our team's ready to go. Who's going to bat first? And then once the game would begin, the game will last about 40 minutes. So you have the field for about 55 to 60 minutes, and then we'll have the next teams coming on. So in the game, everybody that you have on your team will bat each inning. We will make sure, so you're going to bat through the entire batting order. If you have 8 kids there, you just write out all 8 kids. I would just do it alphabetically each time with my kids. And then maybe rotate game to game, who gets to bat first, who gets to bat last. But everybody's going to bat. So we would not count any outs. So the inning's going to end when my last kid has batted. And then they can only run one base. So I can run to first base when the ball's hit, second base, third base, and then home. So you can only run one base on a hit. The coaches can decide who's going to be where for umpiring, but I would suggest the head coach or whoever's going to work with your batters be at home plate, because you're going to set the tee, and that's also the location where you can make sure the kids' feet are lined up correctly or they're holding the bat correctly, so they can get the best chance to succeed and learn how to bat in micro T-ball. And then you are going to bat through the whole entire inning. So everybody bats. We want to try to get through at least 2 innings, but you have 40 minutes. So depending on your team size, depending on how quick your team hits, you may get in 2, 3, 4 innings in that 40-minute time frame. So that would just depend on how fast you can get them in and out. And sometimes that depends on how hot it is. Because when it's really hot and they're in the shade and drinking water, sometimes it can be hard to get them back out on the field in a hurry so you can start a new inning. But that's the gist of what you're going to have in micro T-ball. So some of the real quick rules, as I said, each team, you'll just bat through your entire lineup. The bases are going to be 50, and the pitching distance is 30. Each field is going to have, as I said, a bag with a bucket of balls and batting helmets there for you, and batting tees, 1 for each team. If you ever show up and this equipment is not on your field, please go see our site supervisor. Or if you show up, you play at 1, you end at 2, make sure you just kind of clean it up. Make sure all the balls are in the bucket. Nobody takes balls because they are there for the entire day. And then if you had any helmets, replace those and just put the tees back. Kind of leave it as you would have found it, with the bucket of balls there at home plate, with the 2 tees for the next team who's going to start right after you. In micro, we will have no catcher in the micro league. So you will have every position player you will put them out in the field. A team may begin with 5. All players will bat. All players play in the defense. And then I would highly, highly, highly recommend, suggest rotating players' positions. I did it every inning. I would go through and have the kids that maybe were playing my infield positions of first, second, short, and third, and pitcher. I would then, if I had 10, I would put them in the outfield positions. I would do kind of right behind first, so I do like a right, center, left, and left center for my 10 players. And I would move my outfielders in the next inning to infield and my infielders to outfield. Because what that would do is that just kind of connects them, keeps them involved. If they're always kind of just standing, I wouldn't put any of my outfielders in the grass. I would put them kind of on the edge behind the base pass so the runners could run. So I'd put my infielders up, kind of my outfielders behind the base pass, but it's all still on the dirt infield. And then I would rotate through. And our positions, as I said, will be first, second, short, first, second, third, short, and pitcher, and then right, left, and a center field is how I would kind of match them up as my 10 players. And when you're batting, a batter cannot strike out. Batters must lay their bat down. So in practice, kind of go through, make sure they get so excited, really be patient and try to teach them. That's one of the reasons we don't have a catcher anymore, because kids do get excited back there. And unfortunately, beginning of the year, they may throw their bat out of excitement. And that's something where we will teach them, you can't throw your bat, is really important. On deck batter must wear a helmet and be 20 feet away down the line. We'll have a little circle there, you can back them up. And then when you're batting, you will probably be doing the tee, so you will need another coach at first base and another coach at third base, just so the kids know where to run. And I would teach them when they're running to first base to run through the orange part of the bag. Fielders, as I said, they cannot be on the base path, so we have collisions. Kind of put your infield in front of the base path and your outfielders behind it. Base running, helmets must be worn by everybody. You're allowed to advance one base, and there's no advancing bases on overthrown balls, and then no sliding or stealing. Coaches are umpires. When the team is on the field umpire makes a call at the bases, if you have any. If somebody gets out, you can still have them run. This is really teaching, this is a basic league that's really trying to teach them the skills of baseball, how to run the bases, how to have fun, all of that. And we don't count outs at this age group because everybody bats. So when I played, even if a guy got out or the other team, we got an out, we still let them run the bases. That might be a conversation with the other coach before, but 4 or 5-year-olds, they just want to play, they want to run the bases, they only get 2 or 3 at-bats a game. Safety is a major concern, so try to work with your players, because one of the things you will see a lot, ball gets hit third, and the entire team on defense runs to the ball at third, and everybody's trying to get it. So try to teach them to stay in their positions and stay behind the baseline. And then as coaches, please remember where we're at. If something happens or there's an incident, please contact the youth sports office Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Also, you can also find the rules on our website, and a parent can find the schedules. Everybody should have received an email of Player Space with their schedule, and they will also receive an email from Player Space as a weekly reminder on Fridays of their upcoming game that weekend. So, as I said at the beginning, thank you for coaching, and if you need anything throughout the season, please let us know in the YMCA Youth Sports Office, and thank you for impacting the community, and good luck.